In a bit of a surprise, Canon has launched the EOS R6 Mark II just 2 years after the original R6. It has some key improvements like a higher resolution 24.2 megapixel sensor, faster shooting speeds, and much reduced video overheating issues. The new model seems designed to help Canon better compete with Sony's like-priced A7 IV. It now measures up in most ways, though Sony's 33 megapixel camera wins the resolution race. At an event in San Diego, Canon let us test R6 prototypes in various shooting situations. As it's not the production model, this isn't a final review, but it does give us a chance to give you our impressions. The EOS R6 II isn't just a B version of the R6. It has significant changes inside and out, starting with the new 24.2 megapixel sensor. It's not, as rumors suggested, the stacked BSI sensor from the R3, but it does offer benefits over the 20 megapixel chip on the R6. Along with the higher resolution, Canon promises better overall image quality even next to cameras with the same pixel count. It also offers improved low light sensitivity despite the increased resolution. The R6 II has some physical changes as well. The power switch is now in a position I prefer at the right, so it's easier to access yet harder to hit by accident. It also has a new photo-video mode switch that keeps those things separate. Flipping it now changes the menus, and Canon has added a handy video-specific Q menu. Otherwise, it has the same nice grip, menus, control layout, and handling as before, with none of Canon's recent gimmicks like a touchpad. It also uses the R6's flip-out screen, dual UHS 2 card slots, and 3.67 million dot electronic viewfinder. The battery is identical, but Canon has boosted efficiency from 510 shots max on the R6 to 760 on the R6 II. In one day, I shot over 2,000 photos without changing the battery. What about performance? Mechanical shutter burst speeds are the same at 12 frames per second, but you can now fire RAW shots in silent mode at an exuberant 40 frames per second. What's more, the R6 II now offers a pre-shooting option that captures RAW files for a half second before you push the shutter release. That lets you catch a moment even if you react slowly at the expense of some battery life. With those speeds, you may be wondering about buffering and rolling shutter. The latter is present, but much better controlled than the A7 IV. Meanwhile, it can grab about 75 RAW shots before the buffer fills, but it resets fairly quickly with fast cards. Canon says the autofocus on the R6 II is its most advanced yet. It now handles people, animals, and vehicles, including motorcycles, cars, trains, and horses. The best addition is the auto-select mode that lets the AI decide what to track. Bearing in mind that we shot with prototypes, autofocus seems as accurate as the R6, consistently nailing shots in most circumstances. It occasionally got confused by the background or close subjects, but that could improve by the December release date. Image quality is also hard to judge at this point, as RAW files aren't yet ready to be seen. But JPEGs look great, with the usual Canon-like warm skin tones and accurate hues. Low-light capability was surprisingly solid, with noise well controlled at ISO 6400 and even beyond. Next, we'll look at video, my biggest issue with the EOS R6. That model could only shoot 4K 60p video for 30 minutes, and then only for another 10 minutes or so after it cooled. Those heat issues and the 30-minute time limit are effectively gone. You can now shoot 4K 60p uncropped for 40 minutes, and it can normally go well beyond that. Cropped 4K 60p has a 50-minute limit, and 4K 30p has no restrictions. Video specs have improved as well. Internally, you can shoot 4K 60 frame per second supersampled video with a 1.07 times crop. 4K at 30 frames per second is supersampled from 6K using the full sensor width. And you can shoot 1080p at up to 180 frames per second for super slow motion. It supports 10-bit 4K video and increased dynamic range with either HDR or C-Log 3. And you can even shoot 6K RAW to an external Atomos recorder, though that feature wasn't ready yet for testing. As with photos, AF for video tracks humans, animals, and vehicles. In my limited testing, it performed well, only occasionally focusing on the background. So far, subject tracking isn't quite as reliable as I saw on the A7 IV, but this may improve with the final version. Video looks sharp and I didn't run into any heat issues in sunny San Diego. The 1080 180p video was a bit soft as it's captured with some pixel binning. I was happy with the colors though, and low light capability is good to excellent. My takeaway so far? By minimizing the heat issues, the R6 II is already a big improvement over the original R6. But it's also a better camera for photography thanks to the higher resolution, faster speeds, and improved image quality. Canon's RF ecosystem keeps getting better too. Its latest lens is the impressive 135mm f1.8, joining 26 other full-frame prime and zoom lenses. So this system has grown by leaps since it launched 4 years ago. As it's still a prototype, I can't give a final evaluation of image quality and autofocus. However, the R6 II launches in December for $2,500, so stay tuned for a full review. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. And for more on technology, check out Engadget.com.